Kevin swiped right, his heart pounding. Connie's profile was a breath of fresh air, her smile radiant, her eyes sparkling with intelligence. He'd been on Bumble for months, wading through mundane profiles. Connie seemed different, genuine. Days turned into an eternity as Kevin waited for a response. Just when he was about to give up, his phone buzzed. Connie had matched with him. Excitement surged through him. He crafted a witty opening message, hoping to impress. To his delight, she responded almost immediately, their conversation flowing effortlessly. With each passing day, Kevin felt a growing connection with Connie. Kevin asked Connie out on a date. It was a bold move, one that he had been contemplating for days. They had been chatting online for weeks, sharing stories, jokes, and even some personal secrets. Kevin felt a connection, something he hadn't felt in a long time. He hoped Connie felt the same way. He suggested a cozy wine bar known for its intimate atmosphere. It was a place he had visited once before and had always wanted to return to. The dim lighting, the soft music, and the comfortable seating made it the perfect spot for a first date. He imagined them sitting in a quiet corner, getting to know each other better over a glass of wine. Connie enthusiastically agreed, and they set a date for Friday night. She had been looking forward to meeting Kevin in person, curious to see if the spark they had online would translate into real life. She marked the date on her calendar and started planning what to wear. As the week progressed, Kevin found himself increasingly distracted. His thoughts kept drifting to Connie and their upcoming date. He wondered what she would be like in person, if she would laugh at his jokes, if they would have the same easy rapport they had online. His colleagues noticed his distraction, but he just smiled and shrugged it off. Friday night arrived and Kevin felt first date jitters. He spent extra time getting ready, making sure his tie was straight and his hair was just right. He took a deep breath before leaving his apartment, trying to calm his nerves. He wanted everything to be perfect. He arrived early, choosing a private table with a view. He wanted to make a good impression, to show Connie that he was thoughtful and considerate. As he waited, he checked his watch repeatedly, each minute feeling like an eternity. As he waited, doubts crept in. What if their online chemistry didn't translate? What if they had nothing to talk about? What if she didn't like him? He tried to push these thoughts away, but they kept coming back, making him more and more anxious. Just as his doubts spiraled, Connie entered, her smile radiant. She looked even more beautiful in person, and Kevin felt a wave of relief wash over him. He stood up to greet her, his nerves melting away as she approached. Their conversation flowed effortlessly, picking up right where they left off online. They talked about their favorite books, their dreams, and their fears. They laughed at each other's jokes and shared stories from their past. It felt like they had known each other for years. Kevin was captivated by Connie's energy and passion for life. She spoke with such enthusiasm and joy, and he found himself hanging on her every word. He realized that this was just the beginning of something special, a promise of connection that he hoped would grow into something more. Time flew by, and soon the bar was closing. Kevin walked Connie to her car, their conversation filled with shy smiles. As they reached her car, Kevin leaned in and kissed her goodnight. The kiss was electric, confirming their chemistry. Over the next few weeks, their relationship blossomed. They explored museums, hiking trails, and shared countless meals. Kevin was smitten with Connie, loving her laugh and adventurous spirit. However, as weeks turned into months, Kevin noticed a subtle shift. Connie started to withdraw, her texts becoming less frequent. Kevin couldn't shake the feeling that something was amiss. Kevin tried to address the issue, but Connie downplayed his concerns. She blamed her lack of communication on being busy or needing space. Kevin wanted to believe her, but felt something was off. One evening, Kevin broached the subject again during dinner. Connie became defensive, accusing him of being needy. Their conversation escalated into an argument, the first real fight they had. Kevin stormed out, questioning everything. Had he misread their relationship? Was Connie incapable of giving him the connection he craved? The uncertainty gnawed at him. The fight left a palpable tension between Kevin and Connie. It was as if an invisible wall had been erected between them, one that neither could see, but both could feel. The air was thick with unspoken words and unresolved issues. They went through the motions, but the spark was gone. Their once vibrant relationship now felt like a series of empty gestures. The laughter and joy that once defined their time together had been replaced by a cold, uncomfortable silence. Kevin missed their easy banter, now replaced with forced conversations. He longed for the days when they could talk for hours about anything and everything, Now every word felt like a struggle, every sentence a potential landmine. He tried to address their communication issues, but Connie shut down. Whenever he brought up his concerns, she would either change the subject or become defensive. It was as if she had built a fortress around herself, one that he couldn't penetrate. She deflected his concerns, making him feel like the problem. Kevin felt increasingly isolated, as if he were shouting into a void. His attempts to bridge the gap only seemed to widen it. Kevin felt trapped in a cycle of miscommunication and distance. Each day felt like a repeat of the last, with no end in sight. The more he tried to fix things, the more they seemed to fall apart. One day, Kevin discovered Connie had gone on a weekend getaway without telling him. It was a shock, a betrayal that cut deep. He found out through social media a photo of her smiling with friends in a place he had never been. He confronted her, but she dismissed it as no big deal. Her casual attitude only fueled his anger. How could she not see the problem? How could she be so indifferent to his feelings? Kevin knew she was lying, realizing their trust was broken. The foundation of their relationship had been eroded, and he could no longer ignore the cracks. Trust, once lost, is hard to regain. If she couldn't be honest about a trip, what else was she hiding? The question gnawed at him, keeping him up at night. He wondered how many other secrets lay hidden, waiting to be discovered. The future of their relationship seemed uncertain, shrouded in doubt and mistrust. The weekend getaway marked a turning point. Kevin realized Connie's lack of communication was a fundamental incompatibility. He craved open communication, but Connie kept him at arm's length. Kevin tried to make it work, suggesting couples therapy. Connie remained resistant, accusing him of overreacting. Kevin walked on eggshells, afraid to upset her. The relationship became a source of stress and anxiety. Kevin knew he couldn't keep living like this. The thought of breaking up filled him with dread. The final straw came when Kevin's grandmother passed away. He reached out to Connie, desperate for support, but she didn't respond. The next day, she apologized, claiming she was busy with work. Kevin knew it was a lie, realizing she couldn't offer him comfort. He had given her countless chances, but she wasn't willing to meet him halfway. Kevin deserved someone who cherished him and prioritized their relationship. He couldn't be in a relationship where he felt unheard and unvalued. With a heavy heart, he decided to end it. He knew it was the right decision. Kevin asked Connie to meet him at their favorite park. On their usual bench, Kevin spoke from the heart. He explained he couldn't be in a relationship where he felt unimportant. Connie listened, her expression softening. She apologized, acknowledging her distance and insecurities. Kevin appreciated her honesty, but knew it couldn't erase the hurt. Their communication styles were too different. Kevin knew they couldn't bridge the gap. He deserved a relationship built on mutual respect and understanding. They parted ways, their paths diverging. Kevin explained he couldn't erase the pain her actions caused. He deserved someone who shared his values and understood the importance of communication. With a heavy heart, he ended the relationship. Connie pleaded with him to reconsider, promising to change. But Kevin knew it was too late. The trust was broken, the connection severed. He couldn't keep sacrificing his happiness. They said goodbye, their voices barely above a whisper. They walked away, their paths leading in opposite directions. The breakup was one of the hardest things Kevin had ever gone through. It felt like his world had crumbled, leaving him in a state of confusion and heartache. He spent countless nights replaying moments in his mind, wondering where things had gone wrong. He had loved Connie deeply, believing they had something special. Their connection seemed unbreakable, filled with laughter, shared dreams, and tender moments. They had envisioned a future together, one that seemed so certain and full of promise. As the pain subsided, Kevin reflected on the lessons learned. He began to understand that love alone wasn't enough to sustain a relationship. It required effort, patience, and a willingness to grow together. He started journaling his thoughts, finding solace in putting his feelings into words. Communication was about listening, understanding, and respecting each other's needs. Kevin realized that he and Connie had often talked past each other, missing the deeper meanings behind their words. He learned that true communication involved not just speaking, but also truly hearing and valuing the other person's perspective. It was about being present and making an effort to bridge gaps. Kevin understood that being physically present wasn't enough. Emotional presence was crucial. He needed to be there for his partner, to support and understand them, even during the tough times. Kevin learned the importance of finding a partner willing to meet him halfway. Relationships were a two-way street, requiring both individuals to put in equal effort. He realized that compromise and mutual understanding were the foundations of a strong partnership. He vowed to never settle for less than a love built on mutual respect and support. Kevin promised himself that he would seek a relationship where both partners uplifted each other, where respect was a given and support was unwavering. Kevin became more mindful of his communication patterns. He started reading books on effective communication, attending workshops, and even discussing his insights with friends. He wanted to ensure that he would never repeat the same mistakes. He set healthy boundaries and walked away from relationships that no longer served him. Kevin learned that it was okay to let go of connections that drained him. Understanding that his well-being was paramount, he embraced the idea that sometimes walking away was an act of self-love. Kevin eventually dipped his toes back into the dating pool. He was more selective, paying attention to how potential partners communicated. He looked for someone who shared his values and understood the importance of communication. The memory of Connie's love and heartbreak held a special place in his heart. Kevin knew he had emerged stronger and wiser. True love was about finding someone who accepted him, flaws and all. Communication was the cornerstone of any successful relationship. Kevin continued his journey, his heart open to possibilities. He was ready for a love that was real, true, and built to last.